Joseph,
Yes,
good morning, good
sir.
afternoon. Good to see you again. How are you?
Well, it's a pleasure. I mean, always a pleasure to meet you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, great.
For everybody joining us today, just a quick reminder, these advisory board meetings are really meant to be a jump start for this quarter's feedback for Joseph and his team. So we really want to make sure that we get all the advisors' questions answered so that they have all the context they need to be active in the advisory cloud boardroom moving forward this quarter. So with that, I want to walk through some of the specific questions that Joseph, you and your team have posted in the Advisory Cloud boardroom for this quarter, and just see if there's any extra context that you want to help provide so that your advisors can, again, provide the best feedback moving forward this quarter. So the first question that's been posted in the Advisory Cloud boardroom, and again, for everybody joining us, really encourage you to log in there and answer a question, comment on another member's answer. It's your participation that's really key to providing Joseph and his team the guidance that they're looking for. So the first question posted is, as we work to refine our fundraising pitch, we're very interested to know what is working and what drew you to this board. So Joseph, I think that's fairly self-explanatory, but I think you're really just looking for any feedback and guidance for what the draw and the passion that your advisors are bringing to the table can provide. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. There's so the in the first place, we're not just wanting people to join us. We want people with the heart, people who want to serve humanity to join us, because it is with the heart that one can commit to something like this, because you're not being paid. That's the first thing. And so there's always the fact that uh, people will hear certain thing that is good and we want to help. That's fine. But what we want is, do you have the passion to serve the honor privileged? And if that is who you are, join us. So that's why we're asking the question. What makes you to wanting to serve us or to serve Weedor, basically?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you for that extra context there. Next up, the next question that you posted is, we would greatly appreciate feedback and suggestions for improvement on our current model for the school management system. However, it is still in development and consequently proprietary. Would you be willing to sign an NDA and take a look to provide your expertise? And I did see in the comments that we do have some members who have signed that NDA. So what's going to be the process for that in order to share that moving forward with you and your team?
Yeah, several of them have agreed that they are willing to sign the NDA, but we felt that the best area for us to confirm that, yeah, this process will begin is to have the first board meeting. Basically, is acquaintance meeting. So right after here, we will be sending them email, uh, or we'll be sending them the information to them and the NDA for them to sign. So we working to upload it to DocSign so that they can sign, and then we will receive it and approve it. Then they receive their copy, we receive our copy. Then we will, in the same process, communicate with them as to when would they want for us to have a joint meeting where we will display the system to them, when that will be agreed in our discussion. If it is individual to individual, that's not stay by. But we really want them to have an insider look at what we're doing, and that they can provide the best advice, because our take is that we want to develop something like no other, you know um and that requires experts idea. One person does not know it all. uh so people who have been in these various fields, because we're talking about trying to put together something that has layers. So it's not just that we want to help schools. Of course, to helping schools in Africa requires so many things. It will require looking at the context, the African context, for example, the different countries. We will have to take into consideration international laws, international regulations, that govern how tech is being used from country, inter countries. So we got to take that into consideration. Of course, the American law, we are an American nonprofit organization. So we want to ensure that we are compliant to all, not even a single little one. We want to be compliant to the American regulations because that is our strength. So, and then we're talking about education. We want experts. We might have idea about Liberian education, but we want people who understand education. It's a different factors. So that's why we're going to open it. We're not going to close ourselves and thinking that we're doing something great. No, we're going to open it, but at the same time, we are cognizant of the fact that people may see our idea, and because we are staying in the formational stage, we do not want people to abuse our system and maybe try to create different things. That's why, for us to unveil our vision to people, you got to sign the NDA, and we will hold you accountable for that. We are resolute, and we committed to this vision, and we want to see true change in Africa. Imagine, research has shown that Africa's youth population will be somewhere around 45% of the total young population in 2030. This is the population that is undereducated, that has so much challenges. Imagine if something tangibly is not done about that. And then 2030 comes. What's the implication for the rest of the world? Are people thinking in depth about what that could mean? So if we want to address that future problem, we want to commit. And that is the opportunity we want to provide for people to join. Join us. This is not about us. This is about the future that we want to see.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. The next question we have is, so far, we're mainly self-funded, but in order to achieve our aims, we'll need to drastically increase our funding. We've received a few donations from a handful of individuals and corporations, and this year, we plan to begin applying for grants and approaching more corporations for their support. What other types of funding would you recommend that we explore? And are there any individuals or institutions you recommend that we reach out to for support? So along those lines, do you have any ideas or thoughts of the types of institutions or areas where you're reaching out to individuals to approach for funding?
Oh yeah, definitely. So we want to touch every area. So government grants, will be something in the near future. But there are foundational grants. There are foundations that have grants. There are startup grants. There are tech grants, and there are many of our board members. These are experts. These are people that have connections. So it's just the matter of selling our vision to them. We believe that they will help us. They will provide the advice. They will provide the connection that together, it's always like tempted to feel that they are just providing the advice. No, for us, we don't want it to be like that. Of course, there are people who are overly busy as well. So we will not definitely push them above where they can manage. But we are saying go beyond just providing the advice in the very little corners. Join us. we are leading a legacy making initiative. And we want you, a little piece of your legacy you want to leave, let it be in Weedor. That is what we want. So one of the things that we want to do, the little grants that we kind of identify, there are several grants opportunities that we've identified. We don't know it all to write grant proposals. We will need your expertise in that as well. But we are also working to ensure that we can access USAID innovative grant.
Mm-hmm.
And that requires us to proving that our model works. It will create great impact with little initiative. How do we make that? How do we convince USAID of that? That will rest not only on our shoulder, but the shoulder of you, our board of advisors, and our board of directors as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And that's a perfect segue into the next question that you've posted in the advisory committee boardroom this quarter, which is, we have an official board of directors who are actively engaged, though we are grossly understaffed, and we need to grow a staff of volunteers. We especially need support in finance, project management, fundraising, and marketing and community outreach. What are the best practices for growing a nonprofit volunteer staff? And who do you know who might like to join our initiative? It sounds like obviously you made clear there that the areas in which you're looking for support. If there were one or two of those that would be most important for finding some additional support, what would those be?
I don't know whether I understood you clearly. Are you saying besides what we've mentioned?
No, of those you mentioned 4 or 5 there. Are there one or two of those that are the most important?
Okay. So now the most important is the strategic direction of the organization will definitely rest on the board, but importantly, the president of the board. So we want you among our advisors, look among yourselves, think about this organization, volunteer to join our board and serve as president. We want a visionary president who will join us, and the rest will fall in line. That's my take about it. So it doesn't have to be somebody who is into tech or who is a developer, but we need a committed board member, somebody who will say, you know what, this is a very young vision, and the young people are passionate about it. Let me join them so that we can bring it to life. That's what we want. So that person with the rest of the board members and the advice from the other people, we will now figure out what are the areas that need immediate attention.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, Joseph, thank you so much for joining us today and helping to provide all this wonderful extra context for your advisory board. And it's just so clear your passion for this cause is amazing. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And again, for all the advisors, whether you're joining us live or watching this recording, we really encourage you to get involved in the Advisory Cloud boardroom. These meetings are really meant to be the jumpstart for this quarter's feedback loop for Joseph and his team. So again, we really encourage you to log into the Advisory Cloud boardroom, answer one question, comment on another member's answers. It's your participation and feedback there that's really key to providing Joseph and his team the guidance and the feedback they're looking for. So again, to everybody joining us today, thank you so much. Again, Joseph, thank you to you. Really appreciate your time today, and I look forward to seeing you next quarter.
All right, Chris, it's a pleasure as always, and I look forward to the next meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.